Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Yep podcast, Young Entrepreneur Podcast. We're out here in Percy Warner Park, Tennessee. Here with Sage Moore, 4+ years of content creation in all different worlds. You've done a lot of car stuff, real estate, mindset, books, cinema, filmmaking. Kind of a man of
all the stuff,
many trades. Dude, welcome. Tell us about yourself. Tell me about yourself.
So I mean, you know me for the most part, but started off with, filmmaking. I actually, and not many people know this, I actually started a YouTube channel like many years ago for parkour. And we actually just shot a clip of me like doing a flip.
Yeah, we'll toss it in here.
Yeah. So I actually started a YouTube channel so long ago to film myself doing parkour. And that's actually really where I found like, hey, I enjoy having a camera in my hand. I enjoy making videos. I love all that stuff. And that's actually where I found it. I tell a lot of people that I found filmmaking and stuff like that through cars, but it was actually through parkour, which was my prior interest. So I started a YouTube channel with that, and then filmed myself doing that, doing parkour, flips, all this stuff. Had a Canon T6, very common starter camera, And then after that, I got into cars. That was a big move for me. I didn't really pick up the camera when I first got into cars. And then a few years into it, I picked up the camera again. I bought my first Sony A7, I think it was an A7 II. Just kind of shot my own car. That was 2019. Yeah, 2019, I think. And ever since then, pretty much it's just escalated from there. I found that I loved using filming cars as a way to kind of express artistic emotion. I mean, that's the main reason that most people like filmmaking in general, is just expressing emotion through an artistic medium. And cars was just happened to be my subject because I loved cars, and I still do. I'm not as into them now as I was. Still love them, but I definitely love filmmaking more than anything. So yeah, that's kind of my story, and I pretty much I did solely cars for like 2 years, and then now I'm branching off into lots of other things, real estate. I work with a YouTuber, his name's Gavin. We'll do shoots of just ridiculous houses, so I get to travel a little bit, so that's been really cool. A stretch for my creative mind. And then I've picked up a little bit of personal filmmaking, pretty much just shorts right now. I haven't done anything long yet, but I just made a short that I really love, which was on this book, It's All in Your Head by Russ. That is an amazing book, and I loved, I did a video. It almost summarizes the book in 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
Oh.
So I know you saw that one a while ago.
Yeah.
I like that. That's one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. Pretty much just doing my thing, kind of figuring out which avenue I enjoy the most. But I think I'm going to stay wide open and make my content about me shooting these things and not those things, if that makes sense. Because it used to just be all cars and none of my face.
Right.
And now I'm going to change that. And there's going to be lots more of my face, lots more of me, giving advice, value, all that stuff. So yeah, that's my direction now, brother.
I definitely want to touch on like the personal brand at some point during this conversation.
Yes, we will, 100%.
But for the meantime, you're 22 years old?
23.
23.
Recently 23.
23 years old, and you do this full time. When was it that you realized, man, I can really make money with my skills behind the camera and what I create?
Honestly, that probably was 7 months ago, 6 months ago at this point. like not that long ago, because I originally picked it up as a way of just expressing like emotions and creating art just for the sake of it. And only recently, I would say maybe not even 6 months, more like 4 months, is when I was like, oh wow, I want to make money doing this. I want to make more money than like the average person, all that stuff. And I always thought that I couldn't do that with being a filmmaker, videographer, whatever. I had like such a strong belief that that was going to be so impossible to do, and that only a select few people can do that. And I've proven that to be not true. I'm not like freaking rolling in money or anything, but I do okay as a solo content creator. It's not an easy gig by any means. But I have proved myself wrong, which is awesome. And I know that there's a lot of other videographers out there who are like, this is just like a passion project, passion hobby. I can't make real money doing this. And I was in that boat for the longest time. And now I know that that's not true. You have to be able to put on a business cap as well as a creative cap. You know what I mean? So for the longest, I only had a creative cap on and not a business one.
Yeah.
So now I'm able to switch between the two, or be both at the same time if I need to. So that is still an ongoing battle though, because there are times where I'm like, oh, I should only shoot this for the passion or for the art of it. I don't want to devalue it by putting a price tag on it, you know? So
Other times where it's the opposite too.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. I would say there are times where I'm being paid to shoot something, and I start shooting it and I'm like, wow, like I really want to put my ass into this, because as I'm shooting, I'm like, wow, this could actually be really, really, really good. And then I'm like, don't overstep, don't do more work than you're being paid for.
Yeah.
And I think it's that kind of situation is very situational. Like you can't put a black and white, like, hey, do this in that situation. I think anytime that's come up, I have to kind of choose, hey, do I want to put more time into this, even though I'm not getting paid for that time? And you kind of just have to choose, I guess. That was kind of a tangent, but it is something that I've run into plenty of times, because I'm getting paid to do something, and usually when I'm getting paid, I'm going to put all my effort into it, but there's always like 10% left on the table. Like you can always put in 100% effort, but if you want to make it amazing, 110% effort, you know, and sometimes that's not worth the money that you're being paid, but you just want to do it because you're like, wow, this is amazing, and I live for this.
It's your work
know?
too.
Yeah, exactly. It's still my work and my name's still on it. So yeah, that's a common battle that I always fight, and I think that will possibly be something that I will fight forever, you know?
I think it's tough because, yeah, when you're being paid to do work, you kind of calculate that based on like, how much time am I going to spend on this? How much is it really worth?
Hourly rate, all that stuff.
And then, yeah, do you say you spend, 6 hours editing a video, but then you're like, oh man, like I could spend 4 more hours on this at least.
Absolutely.
And make it so much better. And yeah, with our name on it, like that's the way people see that work and they perceive you in that way. So yeah, it's definitely hard to find that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's a balancing act a lot of the time. And a lot of times there also is no balance.
Right.
Which is a lot of life, but especially this for sure.
How have you gone about finding, there's a hawk that just flew
Where?
by. He's like to the left of the trail over there.
I wish I had my camera, or I wish I had a very long lens on right now. Oh, there is one, yeah, sitting right there. Dude.
Do we need to grab your camera and just have it ready for if it...
Where is he at? I still haven't seen him.
Okay, so the trail right there, like probably like he landed on the ground like 6 feet from the trail.
To the
over,
left?
Yeah, to the left. He's over there on the ground somewhere.
Oh my God.
Oh, you see?
Oh yeah.
I can't see him, but
He can see us.
Yeah, he can definitely see us.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Um,
Yeah,
What was your question?
I think I was getting at, speaking of balance. How have you found ways to balance work life, creative life, and a healthy life for you mentally and physically?
I think I can touch on this pretty well. So I think I'm going to share what works for me, and then you can either take it and run with it or be like, hey, that wouldn't work for me. But with work, life, health, relationships, balance, I would dare say that week to week, at least for me, it's situational. Because there will be times where a client will need me, like they'll be like, hey, I have this thing, and we won't have this thing forever to shoot, right? So I'll be like, okay, I'm on the way. Let's get it done.
Like a house or a car?
A house, car, even a piece of clothing. One of my clients has a clothing brand. So with that, you pretty much just have to not stick yourself so hard to a regimen, if that makes sense. I used to be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym 4 days a week at this time for this long. And there's a lot of times where, especially with, by the nature of what we do, like things don't go to plan all the time. Stuff takes longer than you think. Stuff gets canceled. So not trying to stick yourself to like a freaking strict regimen and being able to be more liquid is pretty much what's gotten me balance. It's like balance by being out of balance. Like, what you want is achieved through the opposite. It's pretty crazy the way that it works. But like I won't even say like if my mom's like, if we're doing like a family event, I'll say yes, I'll be there, but I'm not gonna like lock myself in at a certain time to be there, because I know that like I have to get editing done. I don't know how long that's gonna take, this and that, but I pretty much just play it situationally. And if I'm editing for 3 hours straight and I'm like, okay, I'm getting to a good stopping point, I'll go. Like I'm not like cut off by this exact time. Like 5 p.m. rolls around, oh, drop it.
Done.
Get to a stopping point where I feel good about dropping it.
Sorry to cut you off. You see him up there?
Yes, I do.
Do you want me to grab that lens? Like we could totally cut part of this out. I don't mind. You think you could get some sick shots?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get it.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'll tell you if he flies away. Bring my camera and the lens.
Yeah.
And I'll just switch them out.
Got this until tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So.
Oh my God, dude, this thing's a beast.
Yeah.
So is that. Okay, here we go.
Shout out lensrental.com.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, did you ever end up doing that? That shot or that shoot, the track shoot?
The what?
That track shoot?
Track shoot.
You said you had something.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Dude, it's so zoomed. Fuck.
It's crazy, the mid-podcast nature shot.
All right, guys, we're gonna move in on him.
Yeah.
There's too many trees covering him. Dude, it's not a hawk, it's an owl. That's an owl.
Really? No way.
Woo.
Oh, I got this.
Dude, that really sounds like an owl.
Is it looking? Is he looking at you?
Yeah. Do it again.
Hey.
Oh my God, dude.
He's right there.
Dude, that is so cool, bro. Oh my God.
This is the coolest thing ever.
Bro, he's so cool looking.
I bet through that lens, it's probably not.
Oh, what?
He looked right into the lens.
Dude, and I'm doing like 120 FPS.
Hell yeah, this is gonna be the sickest shots.
Oh my God. I need him to fly away.
He's like confused right now. He's like, that's not an owl, bro. It's a human.
Dude, he may attack me, bro. Dude, like this just feels crazy right now. Like I never see owls.
He's so close, and he's huge. That's a big ass owl.
Yeah, he's fat, bro. Dude, I'm so glad you have this lens.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to show you this video. I'm trying to take it in with my eyes, but also film. Dude, I feel so lucky right now. Like,
Beautiful.
he is.
How detailed is it through that camera?
Dude, I'm at 600. I'm like right on his face.
Oh,
No! 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 Bro.
oh, he's over
Oh,
there.
oh, 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 oh. Yes.
He landed.
Fly, damn it.
You know, like, I want him to look back at it. Pause.
Pause, bro. Ah! I got him. I got it. Holy shit. That is insane, man. Like, and I'm gonna slow it down too. Dude, isn't that so fucking... Isn't that sick, bro? I'm freaking out.
Oh my god.
Bro.
That was cool.
So fucking... That was worth fucking up the podcast.
Pausing the podcast.
Holy shit. Owl.
Owl
That's
clips.
all you gotta know, bro, is just owl.
I think it was fat too. I thought it was a hawk.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah. I mean, he looked from far away. He looked like a hawk, and then he got up on that branch, and I was like, "Yo, that's an owl, dude."
Yeah. Damn. All right.
All right.
Where were
So back to it. We were talking about balance, and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah. You said something about being very liquid,
Yeah.
and that kind of, I don't know, the image that went through my head was like a bowl of something, right? Or like a container of something. Like if you've got a bunch of rocks in there and you tip it sideways, right? It's all going to be crooked. It's not going to be balanced.
Yeah.
But if you've got water in there and you turn it sideways, it's going to be balanced.
Yes.
That-
Or like
I don't know, it's kind of like
the
a
way
weird
the way that I look at it is like water takes the shape of whatever it's in. You know what I mean? So like Bruce Lee is like, be like water.
Yeah.
That like what he means by that is adapt to any situation. Don't be a rock trying to fit in like a small cup. You know what I mean? The water that takes the shape of the cup perfectly and adapts to the situation you're given. So
Yeah.
I look at like each week, I guess, is like a cup that I need to fit into, and I'm the water. And each cup's differently shaped.
Do you also, in a sense, feel like you are the molder of that cup? Like, do you feel like how much does it feel like that cup is just there and you got to take the shape of it, or how much of it do you feel like the sculptor of the clay?
I would say yeah. I feel like the sculptor of the clay more now that I'm a little more established. But
Yeah.
when I was starting out, yeah, I had to kind of go with the ebb and flow of it, But now I'm able to shape my weeks better and shape my days better because I have a lot more stability and a lot more control over my time. Like I'm not scratching for every opportunity that comes my way. I'm allowed to say no to certain things in order to maintain my structure.
Yeah.
If I want to, and I can say yes to those things and it'll change the structure of my days or weeks,
For sure.
but I can more easily control how the cup is shaped.
And that's probably a lot of that probably has to do with demand that you have now. You probably have a lot more people coming your way that you
sure.
can't even if you wanted to take it all,
For
it
sure.
wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
How long did you do free work until you kind of stopped saying yes to free work?
So the only free work that I would do was free work that I sought out. And that was almost always with cars only.
I would do lots of outreach to owners, offer them a free shoot, this and that.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I did that for probably about a year and a half or so.
Wow.
And that year and a half, obviously I got paid work.
You have a mosquito
here
on
and
your
there.
finger. Sorry.
I got paid work during that time here and there, but nothing consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I used that year and a half as a portfolio builder and also a network builder. And then my headspace during that time was, I don't care about getting paid. I just want to be really good at this thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it almost came from, and a lot of it did actually come from a bad place in my head. I was like kind of upset that I wasn't the best, in heavy quotations, at anything, or like really good at something where people would respect me because of that thing. And I was like, okay, how can I get respect and status with what I have now, with my tools that I have now? And I'm like, okay, I know how to use a camera well, and I'm gonna keep getting better. This is my strongest tool to get respect and hopefully money too down the line. But all I cared about in the beginning was gaining the respect and reputation. That's what I cared about. And I was using the tool that honestly I had developed a little bit, but more so I had a big predisposition towards the creative side of things when it comes to filmmaking. I was just inclined to hold a camera, you know?
Yeah.
Like it comes to me very naturally, and it always has. So I pretty much was like, hey, I'm gonna use this thing to gain reputation because this is my strongest tool that I have right now. So I feel like I strayed away from the question there, but.
No, I mean, I think that you brought up kind of another important topic, which is reputation and respect, and how much, as creators, how much our work is, I was going to say defined, but motivated, I think, by respect, and how it's motivated in different ways. I'm going to tap into kind of the young creator, the new kind of creator world that we're moving into, which is social media. And I know that you gained a big following on Instagram. I mean, relatively big compared to, I would say big in a lot of people's eyes.
For sure.
Following on Instagram for doing cars. How much did, and like you said, like in the beginning, a lot of it.
Brother.
Yeah, great lens, great camera. Sony A7 III. It's a dated camera, dude. 2017, right?
Yeah, or 18 or something like that. Something along those lines. And yeah, I mean, dude, that camera was responsible for Sony like just blowing up their camera industry.
The reason I got it was most definitely because for the past year, all I see online is just shot this on Sony A7 III, or check out Sony A7. Like I think it's it's very put out there and glorified, but for a good reason.
It's an amazing product. I mean, it's seriously just blows money for value. It blows so many other cameras out of the water. I mean, you can get a used A7 III for $1,000.
Yeah.
And then one of those lenses for another $1,000. And you have a ridiculous camera setup for $2,000. I mean that is a ridiculous camera setup.
This setup right here that's what it was. It was like less than $1,100 for each, for the camera and for not combined, but
Also, if you ever get a Atomos monitor that records externally, records in ProRes, which holds a lot more color info, you basically have an A7S III for less money. Because it's so hard to tell the difference between the A7S III's 10-bit S-Log 3 and S-Log3 shot externally. Like if you record onto the monitor.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you can't tell.
Really?
Like that was my setup for the first year and a half of shooting cars. Was an A7 III and an Atomos Ninja Flame, which was a big old monitor, but it recorded externally, so the footage looked amazing. And I was just using 8-bit footage, so it's pretty crazy for sure.
Dope.
That's a pro tip if you don't want to spend the money to buy an A7S III, because they are expensive. Just buy an A7 III and then a monitor, and you're set.
That might be me, and at some point in the near future,
Yeah,
might
you
be
can
my
do that.
setup.
I do like the A7S III though. It shoots it all internally, so you don't have to worry about mounting a monitor anywhere.
Yeah, that's
anywhere
nice.
silly. So
Very true.
that is one thing.
Speaking of equipment, you started on the Canon Rebel T6.
T6i, yep.
And you were doing video with that.
I did a little bit of video with it, yeah.
Also photography.
Yeah,
mostly?
some photography, didn't really do much with. Actually, I actually did a little bit of car photography with it.
Cool.
Just a little bit, not much. I think I ended up getting my first Sony like 2 or 3 months in to shooting any sort of automotive content, because I knew that the Sony was the way.
Sony
I
was
used
the way.
Canon. Yeah, I used the Canon T6 for a bit. It was a solid camera, but
I started on the T7
yep.
and was doing everything with it. I mean, that was before I really even knew anything about how to literally like work manually.
Yeah.
Camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've learned a lot in the past, like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff that you've grown onto. So that's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Man, I learned the last semester of college, I took a photography class, and that changed my game of photography and just changed understanding composition, how to work a camera manually, everything. I mean, everything I was doing before was all like, just like the auto settings, or like I would just be scrolling the little thing to adjust the shutter speed, but I didn't really know what that was doing. It was just like changing the brightness for me.
Yeah. You were like, oh, this looks good, let's run with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
What would you say for young filmmakers, photographers, content creators, anyone who is interested in getting into that space, but doesn't have the money to buy a Sony A7 III, or doesn't have the equipment, or just wants to start off? What would be your advice?
I would say, make your own decision, but my recommendation would be to get a crop sensor Sony. They have, I think it's the A6000. I think it goes A6000, A6300, A6500. There might be a few more in there that I'm missing.
There's a A6400.
Yeah, something like that. One of those cameras I would highly recommend. They shoot 8-bit, and as far as I'm concerned, 4K, or as far as I know, they shoot 4K. And then I do believe that everything from the A6300 and up shoots S-Log2.
Nice. So
you can get S-Log for pretty cheap. I don't remember what they run around. I think the 63 or 64 or 6500s run around like 400, 450. I could be wrong. But if you got one of those, and then you got a really good zoom lens, they make this one lens. It's the Zeiss. I think it's a 24-70 f4. That's a great lens. Very lightweight and affordable. I think it runs around like 600, 700, something like that. It's on the more expensive side. And I do believe it's full frame,
but worth
lens
investing
as well. But yeah,
in that lens.
That's a nice beginner setup, or you can just get any prime lens. Yeah. Really, any prime lens is going to be pretty darn good. Like Sigma, Tamron, those are third-party brands that are like super reputable. Yeah. So really, just one of those bodies, Tamron, Sigma, or a cheaper Sony zoom lens, and then like a Indy / polarizer combo, and dude, you're set. I mean, in tripod, and then after that, I mean, like, you're set. That's a really solid setup. Like, it's not that's not like an amazing low light setup, but for just general shooting with ample light, that's a great setup.
Yeah, that's how this setup has been nice that I've let's tap into the personal brand a little. I think that's something that both you and James kind of instilled into me. I always knew it was important, and obviously you see a lot of people online nowadays talking about what's the biggest thing to invest in 2024, personal brand.
Yep.
What has that been like for you? The importance of it, but also the journey of it, like from an internal standpoint.
So, I mean, if I'm totally honest, I don't have a super, super strong personal brand right now. I somewhat have one, I guess. My entire Instagram / social media presence in general has seriously just been cars for the past 2 years. Wow. Not showing my face, not showing like me talking, anything like that, really. Nothing personal really on there. Only for the last, I would say, just 2 months, I've started shifting focus to that and showing at least some of my face on there. That I do know that the personal brand is very, very powerful. I mean, and I talked to James about it, and I was like, okay, we kind of both came to the conclusion, like, okay, this is kind of like the future of monetizing any sort of audience. I mean, building a brand, a personal brand around yourself, and a following of people that like you for you and not what you're doing. I mean, they've got to like what you're doing to an extent, or else they probably wouldn't follow you. But if they find you because of what you're doing, and then they're like, oh, I actually like this guy, then you have followers for life. Like, they'll love whatever you do, no matter what it is, because it's you and they like you. It's like you've made friends with them, but only one way. Like, they know you, but you may not know them, you know? But they're super loyal to you because they follow you for you, because you've built rapport with them through your content. I mean, and that's something that can be easily monetized. I mean, you'd buy from a friend, more likely than you'd buy from a stranger,
Somebody you trust.
Exactly. Especially somebody who you want to learn something from. So a lot of the personal branding is a funnel for some sort of education program, whether that be a course or resources like a lookup table, a LUT, freaking presets, whatever. Free video tutorial, stuff like that, like lead magnet, stuff like that.
I feel like that's like a very almost new thing that's like really being popularized right now, especially with like the school program. And I know there's other programs similar to school. School
is made it the most easy though. Like, it's so plug and play. School is. I mean, it's just the most user-friendly platform I've ever seen for education. So,
tell me a bit about your ideas for school going forward. I know you've created a school platform. I'm a student on there.
Yes.
And I know that I know you want to do it right, so you're working into that. What's the goal?
So I have 15 students in there right now, and those 15 students are grandfathered in at like a very, very low price, and it's $5 a month. It's super low price, but I capped it at 15. Those 15 people, I'm pretty much going to have them tell me, hey, I want to learn this. Like, this is what I want to learn. Because I don't want to go build something that people don't want, and I only built it because I think that that's what they want. I want to build something that fits into the market, not I build something and then try to fit it into the market. Build it around the market. Yeah, exactly. Build it around the market. So I kind of look at it as this is a micro sample of the entire market, because if you have a small group of people the likelihood that they share similar problems as the rest of the market are pretty high.
Yeah.
You know, like if it's like one person, no, but 15 people is a
good
decent sample size. That's like, okay, the likelihood that the problems that they're having are similar to the problems that a lot of the market is having are pretty high. So if I can build a product that caters to them, then I'm building a product that caters to the market.
Right.
And I want it to be basically a set of steps that someone can take that annihilates each little tiny problem that they would run into along the way. Because I've run into those problems and I know what problems I've had. And if I can build a course that not only is just high quality, all this good stuff, that addresses even the smallest nuanced problems, like, for example, one of the guys, right now I just do weekly calls with the guys in the school group, and one of the problems was, Sage, I'm having focus breathing when I'm trying to shoot rolling shots of cars at night. And I'm like, I've run into that problem and I wrote it down, and that's going to be a topic that I cover.
Cool.
Like, and that's so nuanced. It's like,
yeah.
And I told him, I was like, you need to have one focus area, center for the daytime for rollers, and then zone for nighttime. And then I told him why, and like I explained it. And that's such a tiny little nuanced problem that you wouldn't run into if you haven't done it for a very long time. And that is such a nuanced detail that I'm going to make sure to cover. And there's so many other ones like that, you know? So my goal is to build something that is just a step by step, like every little tiny little obstacle is accounted for. Yeah. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time to do that, you know?
Because there's so many obstacles that you can account for. You know, it's like, I mean, you could do one video course a day, and for a year, 365 obstacles that you're going to run into, there's still going to be so many more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the more that I can find and crush and be like, hey, I know how to work out of this, the better the course will be. You know, the better and it's not something I'm going to release and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to keep working on it, keep making it better, keep updating it, keep changing things to address the problems, and just as close as I can get it to just like a freaking slip and slide. Like, you just go down it, all the problems are accounted for, and you succeed without any bumps or turns or anything like that. Like, the closer I can get it to that, the more well-oiled the machine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's the goal. So there's going to be, cars is going to be the big one. Like, that's a lot of the reason that people know me and want to learn from me is for the cars.
That's what you know the most, probably.
Yeah, that's where I know a lot of the nuanced problems, nuanced obstacles that I can cover and speak on really well. So there will be a cars module. I'm still a little undecided on what the other modules will be, but it will be cars, shooting people, filming people, like yourself, others, clothes, just angles on that, because I've discovered that I'm decent at that. And then weddings is another one, and I'm actually going to have, his name's Lathrop, he goes by Haunch on Instagram. His wedding business is like freaking well-oiled machine. I mean,
are you going to have him be like an instructor in that?
Yep, exactly. Wow. So we'll have to talk about what the terms of that will be for him, but I'll have him do a weekly call for anybody who wants to get into weddings, stuff like that. Yeah. Just to add just that much more value to the program, you know, like, oh, I like to shoot cars, but I do get asked if I, you know, can shoot weddings. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, this covers that? No way. Yeah. Like, that's so much value right there. Because a lot of times, and this happened to me personally, is you go into this and you're like, I want to shoot cars, I want to be an automotive photographer. And then this guy's like, hey, I know a guy who shoots a wedding, or who is good with a camera. I bet he could do weddings. Hey man, can you do a wedding? Here's $1,000. Like, that happened to me. Yeah. And I had never shot a wedding before. But if I had had education prior to that, just because I went into this car course, holy shit.
Or if you have it there that it's like, oh my God, give me 3 weeks and I can study up on it and probably do a pretty good job.
Exactly. So it's crazy because when you go in and you want to shoot cars, you will get pulled in other directions. And if on your way up with shooting cars, you can make money doing these other things and do them well, like what if one of those things blows up? What if you shoot a wedding and they're like, oh my God, this video is amazing. Here's like 3 more people who need a wedding shot, and you're a wedding videographer now, but you're making good money. Right. You know what I mean?
Do one of those a week.
All because I got into this course. I wanted to learn cars, how to shoot cars, but now I understand weddings, or at least I have access to resources that can educate me on how to do that well. Like that, in my opinion, is another nuanced problem or obstacle, you know, that I can cover, that I can, you know, speak to. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you're going to continue to add different like is the goal to kind of create like cars, filming yourself,
real estate,
weddings, real estate, and you might have different instructors doing different things?
Yes. I think for cars and shooting and filming people, I'll probably be the main instructor. And then I do want to make sure that I'm also in the other modules too in some way.
Right.
Just so that people, they're like, they come into the course and they're like, okay, I want to learn from Sage, and then it's not Sage. And they're like, what the hell? So I'm going to make sure that I'm still included in some way in the other two. But I'll probably have some sort of instructor for real estate and some sort of instructor for weddings, which that'll be Lathrop. So
cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
What are your thoughts on the phrase, find your niche?
I think that finding a niche is very powerful for when you're just starting. Because obviously my niche has been cars for the past 2 years, and I built my network through that. And I think that finding your niche is awesome. Like, it allows you to build a following easier because people know, hey, when I follow this person, I know exactly what I'm getting. I mean, it's like, oh, you followed them for fitness content. That's exactly what I'm going to get from this person. So regardless of if you have a big reputation or not, people will be like, oh, yeah, fitness, cool.
I'm not going to follow him if I'm going to be getting a bunch of other things up there too.
But I also think that at a certain point, like, and I'm doing this right now, I'm niching out. Like, I'm not just doing cars. I think I'm niching out to it, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But the niche is me now. I'm the niche. Hence the name change too. It used to be Sage's Media. Now it's just Sage Moore. Like, I am the niche, if that makes sense. I'm the thing that you should be interested in. That sounds weird. But I am the thing that is supposed to attract the interest.
It's that personal brand.
Yeah, it's the personal brand. And the personal brand is you, as you are the niche. So no matter what you do, it's still you. So that's my thoughts on the niche thing. How's the exposure, by the way?
Talk to me about the mental side, or just the aspects that go through your mind with being the person behind the camera and filming others doing things, and kind of how that feels to you. Do you feel like there's a status thing behind that? And I don't know, how have you dealt with that in your experience so far?
So that kind of plays into the belief that the belief that I used to carry, that I couldn't make a lot of money doing this thing. So, how do I want to say this? I used to think that being behind the camera would mean that I am inferior to whatever it is my subject is, whether that be a person driving a car, whatever it is. And I think that a lot of that was just me, because like, no one that I would tell that to, or even like kind of act in a way that would show that I thought that, they would kind of be like, oh no, that's not true. Like, don't think about it that way, you know? Right. And I think that was really just me, man. A lot of that was, I viewed me being behind the camera as inferior, because because that's how I always viewed other people who were behind the camera.
Right.
They were inferior. But if you don't view yourself that way, then you'll present yourself not in that way when you have a camera in your hand. And I didn't do that for the longest time, and I always thought I was inferior, so I felt that way all the time.
Yeah.
And now I don't feel that way anymore. And that's, again, a really recent development. That's been the last like 6 months. I'm like, okay, I'm making more money now with doing this. There's value in this. I feel more valuable too. So I've kind of dealt with that. And then in turn, I feel higher status because I don't feel like that anymore. You know?
I think making money definitely plugs into that, because it's like, oh, I'm here making money. I'm working.
Yeah. I feel valuable.
If someone's judging me, fuck them, I'm making money kind of thing, right?
Exactly. But when you're not making money, you feel inferior. And so for the first year and a half, when I wasn't really making any money, I did feel inferior because I wasn't making any money and I was just doing a lot of it for free. So
what would be your advice on valuing yourself as a young creator? Or if you had to go back to yourself when you first picked up the camera and started shooting parkour or cars, and you were able to give yourself advice on terms of value and kind of in the business sense, what would that advice be? Like, if that makes sense?
that makes a lot of sense.
Would you start charging money sooner, or?
I would say no. I would say when you're starting out, you are pretty much forced to make a name for yourself in one way or another. So doing free work should not be off the table. You should definitely be okay with doing free work. It has its time and place. As much as everyone wants to say you should be paid for every single job that you do, I definitely disagree, at least for the first 6 months while you're learning, getting your training wheels off proverbially.
It's hard to get a job sometimes.
Yeah.
If you do, if you don't have experience
100%,
or a portfolio.
100%. So if I was to go back, I would say, hey, don't worry about making money. Just get really good at this thing. Do this thing well that you like to do. You do this because you're passionate about it, not because it's making you money. And I think I did that well. There were times where I worried about the money a little bit. But I would say just do the thing. Just do the thing that you already like to do, and don't worry about the money, and just do it to the best of your ability. Just learn the skill.
Would you say do you think people can get stuck in that though? In a sense of like...
Yeah, I did. I got stuck in that for so long.
Like you're the guy that loves to shoot cars and it's always been free,
but
so...
I'm broke.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, I guess like the way that people see you, it's like, you know, if you almost devalue yourself...
Yes.
To like, say 6 months of free work, right? You're like, okay, wait, I'm actually pretty good at this. People are liking my stuff. Like, I think a lot of people can get stuck in like, oh my gosh, like, oh, maybe I'll just charge $25 for this, you know? Like, oh, just a little bit. And then it's like, dude, then you're worth that for the next year. Like, year.
No, 100%. And I'm only in the past year getting out of that trap. I mean, it's like you make the doing it because you like it and because you're passionate about it a part of doing it for free, a part of your like identity in a way. And then when you need to start charging for it, and you know you should because you're fucking good at it, you can't, because you're like, oh, that goes against my whole belief system right now.
Yeah.
You know? So that was a hard trap to get out of. And anybody who is in that trap, I would say just play around with what you believe about it. Be like, why do I believe that I shouldn't charge money? Oh, because I just told myself that I wouldn't worry about making money. Am I really going to stop that from making me money or making money? No, like that's silly. I just told myself a while ago, like a year ago or something, I'm not going to worry about it. But now I need to worry about it. I'm not going to let what I said to myself like a year ago stop me.
Yeah.
So just analyze your beliefs and be like, okay, I'm good at this thing now. I have tons of credibility. I can charge for it. I don't need to offer free shoots every 2 seconds or anything like that. So yeah.
I think it's very hard. It was very hard for me to really truly feel the confidence of telling somebody, yep, this is my price.
Yeah, 100%.
And I personally don't think I wouldn't be where I was at today if I didn't have somebody tell me when they did, hey man, if you're gonna go travel for this shoot, tell them your base price is $300, you know, or that for the day. And then tell me that if you're gonna travel, they've got to cover all the travel stuff too. Like, I had a mentor, Miles, tell me that, you know, and that was the first time I ever was like, okay, hey, this is what I cost.
Yeah.
And the client was like, okay, sounds good. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm about to make some money on this trip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's pretty cool.
It breaks your identity a little bit when you're coming out of that like free stuff mindset, you know. But it sucks because to make a name for yourself, you do have to do free stuff for a while. But you need to be able to rip yourself back out of that when you are good enough at it that you have tons of confidence in it, you know. So, and that goes for like really anything, not just shooting video.
Did want to wrap up on habits that you've had or want to have that have helped you out a ton.
Habits in relation to business or just in general?
Just in general. With it could have to do with the balancing business of life, or just you know, kind of things that you either do every day or want to do every day. And it could literally be as simple as making your bed in the morning. You know, something like that.
So I would say a good habit, I'll say two. So exercise is huge. It's very easy to not exercise, just period. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. It's very easy to like let that go. And setting a bigger reason for me exercising has been like very helpful for that. And then my other one is relaxing sometimes. Holy crap. I take only one day off a week. And arguably I don't take the entire day. I'll usually do like half day. It's usually on one of the weekend days, but just taking one day off, because if you try to work and just work your ass off and never take a breath, your body will force you to rest.
Burnout.
Yes.
Burnout sucks.
Also, for anybody who doesn't know this, you can actually overwork your brain and like physiologically burn out and have to be sent to the hospital for cognitive dissociation. So it's never happened to me, but it has happened to someone that I know. So yeah, don't work too hard. Like I think he was like, yeah, I don't think I took a day off for 3 months straight. Damn. And he filmmaker, editor.
It's a weird world, man. Being the creative space.
Yeah, it can push you. It can push you over the edge mentally. 100%, it can.
My parents are both architects, and I've definitely seen both of them in places like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, they're constantly working on a project to perfect it.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Owl.
Maybe another one.
Dude, I wish I had that.
I know.
Oh wait, I have the ISO. I probably could do it if I saw another one.
We'll keep our eyes out. Yeah, it is getting dark. I want to wrap up with some shotgun questions.
Okay.
So just rapid fire, quick answer. Dream car.
Dream car. I'm between a GT3 RS and a AMG GTR Black Series.
Money. What color?
Black for both.
Both. Nice.
Both black. Yeah.
Most influential person you follow on social media?
On YouTube, Charlie Morgan has really changed I'm in his program as well.
Okay.
He's changed the course of my life, 100%.
Awesome. Daily habit that you will never stop doing.
Exercise, 100%.
Must read book.
Must read, definitely It's All in Your Head by Russ, 100%.
Awesome. Must listen to podcast.
Modern Wisdom.
Easy. Cold showers, yes or no?
No. I tried it once. I didn't feel the benefits, so I don't do them. I think that they could be beneficial, but I think you have to do them for a long time before you start seeing benefits, and I've never done them.
Never got into it. Quote or motto to live by, if you have one off the top of your head.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, your life and you will call it fate, by Carl Jung.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will ruin your life.
It will rule your life.
It will rule your life.
And you will call it fate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's deep. I could talk for an hour straight on that.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right. Business tool that you couldn't do your work without. Besides like the equipment necessarily. Like it could be like a good online program or something.
Okay. Either Premiere Pro or my Mac Studio.
Okay.
Mac Studio is insane.
Yeah.
Ridiculous computer.
And lastly, advice for someone, quick advice for someone who wants to do what you're doing, but hasn't started.
Just get good at that. Just get good at the one thing you know you need to get good at. Just get as good as you can at that, and don't stop until you're like literally almost the best, getting there, or just try your hardest to be as good as you can be.
Nice.
That's really it. Just make your product so damn good that no one can argue with you that you're not good at what you do. You know, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Well, Sage, this has been sweet. It is getting dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
If you can even see us. But how can people reach you if they want to see what you're doing or learn about your school program?
So Instagram would be the main way, at SAGEMMOORE. And then I also have a YouTube, but it's all car stuff on there right now. It's just Sage Moore, SAGE space MOORE. But yeah, Instagram would be the best way for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Sage, it's been great.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you. Can we get a
stuff.
back flip or a front flip or something?
Oh,
Is
shit.
it too dark for all that?
No, I can do it. I can do it in the dark. In the dark.
Sage might be one of the most athletic people I know. That's nuts, dude.
Appreciate it, man.
I need you to teach me how to do that.
Dude, you could do it, bro. You easily could.
I feel like I